So it's two of us, Tracy, I guess.
I didn't see Tracy in the morning to remind him, so.
Yeah, I didn't read it. He's been busy with recent weather.
So what are we allowed to do? Anything other than adjourn the meeting? I mean, we'll at least talk about status and where we need to go, as long as we don't make any decisions. And I know it's a touchy area.
Yeah, I mean, I've had other boards do that and I haven't really stopped them, and they. One was called on it and it went to NRPC and they were told that doesn't. meet the
Sean's
operating
here.
law. So,
Sean's here.
hi, Sean.
Hello, Sean.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So we're concerned that we may not make quorum tonight.
Oh.
I know it's gonna be late. He's having to pick the boys up.
I'm not a voting member. I wasn't actually planning to stay the whole meeting, but so the voting members are these two, Joe, Tracy, Desiree, and Michael. Yeah.
Well, are you taking action?
Well,
Are you gonna take action
were-
on anything?
We were talking about, and maybe you can help us out, Sean. Is there anything we can do without a quorum by calling it a working session and at least?
Yeah.
Status.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't think you should not meet
Okay.
tonight. Yeah, just don't I don't know what you would take. What you take a motion on the minutes, and then
No.
No, we
We
don't
don't
need to
have
do
to.
that.
you're just kind of trying to get consensus a little bit on the survey.
Yeah, well, it's been a couple months since the last time we met, so we'd like to get refocused, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, since November.
Yeah, November 6th was our last meeting.
I think, and take the attitude of what we've experienced last week with federal funding cuts, potentially. Keep calm,
That would have
carry
had
on.
no impact on us, none whatsoever.
Yep, just keep calm and carry on.
Yeah,
You
That's-
can just
that's
kind
my-
of get all, yeah, keep calm and carry on. We can just
mean,
get
there might
caught
not
up
even
because
be
it
a
has been a
fee.
couple months. What, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
there may not
Sean.
even be a FEMA, for all we
You
know.
can-
well, the funding for this is one thing, the $1.5 million of federal funding for our water project is something else, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
But anyway, so I guess. You don't have to call a meeting to order, 'cause it's
No.
not, but let's just, maybe we can go through,
I can go through the agenda and
yeah. Yep,
I can probably task you with a few things to think about
yep, perfect.
for the next month because we're really getting towards the end. So it's right now really looking at identifying actions that the town wants to look at for the next 5 years and then looking at who's going to be responsible for them, the funding sources, the timelines, and how you're going to prioritize those actions. So yeah. And then probably outreach is another thing to consider. So I don't know if I could share my screen. So it just brought up the survey. And it looks
Yeah.
like there's,
Hang on just a second, Stephanie.
that's okay. It's not much. You get one response. So-
Really?
I think it's me. I wanted to make sure it worked.
Well, it doesn't speak too highly of the other members of the,
I
This
swore I
committee,
went
yeah.
in and did it.
Huh?
I swore I went in and filled it out.
Maybe it's yours then. Maybe I did it wrong.
And maybe I did it wrong.
I don't.
Oh, that's a good question.
19 years, whoever
That's.
filled it out.
How many years?
19 years? How long have you lived in North Hero? 19 years.
Yeah.
So
Apparently I didn't fill it out right or didn't finish it, one to two.
Well, you got your town clerk.
Well,
I don't remember, where did the invitation show up? Was it on Front Porch Forum?
we put it on Front Porch Forum, we put it on the town
I must have
website.
seen it, yeah.
Yeah. There's was flyers here,
Yeah.
there's flyers at Harborside. Yeah, it's still up at Harborside.
Yeah, I pinned it. It's been up for a long time. I pinned it on the website so it wouldn't get buried in other stories. So it's been at the top for.
it's not unusual.
Yeah,
But something to consider is doing another push and then with I'm not sure if you do a formal town meeting day, if that might be an opportunity to make an announcement, that the plan is in the process of being updated and would love input from the community. Sort
Is
of
that
plug.
possible for the informational meeting? And
So you can't hand out surveys.
no, but can we at least say that it,
That's up to the select board.
okay,
They haven't typically allowed it because, you know,
yeah,
it's like the one time a year, everybody's together and everybody wants a chance to make their say.
yeah,
So,
I get it.
but this is a town thing. I don't know. It's no, it doesn't
So,
hurt to ask.
Corinne, can you put up a flyer with like a QR code?
It's
I mean,
still up on here on the door.
there is one.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
one.
there
on-
is one. Oh, you have that. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, this is not unusual.
Yeah.
I like.
Well, maybe we should try one more posting on Front Porch Forum. Maybe we need to change the headline, make it something dramatic, huh?
The island is sinking.
The island is.
You are a fortunate community that has not really been impacted, so.
Yeah,
I think Sean can probably speak to this too. It's usually you get a lot of input if the town has been impacted, especially recently.
right, yep. Okay, well, we're not gonna make a decision, but
No,
take the
but
suggestion,
it's good to know that we still need to push it.
yep. Okay,
Yeah, I think like some towns in southern Vermont, they have like 30, 40 people showing up for these meetings. And up here, I can't. Alberg, it's the consultant, me, and the town administrator, and they've pushed and pushed trying to get people to attend. So it's not unusual,
yeah.
like Stephanie
Well,
said.
Yeah,
well, they're like us, I mean, not much has really happened there.
right, yeah.
So. Okay,
It's not on the website anymore, and I think I did take the postings down this week, so we can do.
yeah, it's, give it one more shot.
Do you need me to print them again?
I don't know. I'll look into that.
I wish Front Porch Forum would let me just put it up as a picture on there instead of having to type everything out like I did last time.
Yeah.
But they only allow pictures for certain categories.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
Not one, and I'm like that.
Oh, you mean the picture of the QR code?
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
thing, I just take that whole form that I had and make it a posting, but it won't let me. Not with, yeah,
And it won't let you take a picture of the QR code and post that?
I don't know because it's discussion. They don't let you do
Yeah,
pictures. The only pictures are for like, if you're selling something, I think. They're,
Okay.
it's very limited what they can do with
yeah,
pictures.
well, you might wanna ask them for an exception on this particular case.
Okay.
Because it would be convenient to be able
Yeah,
to show that.
yeah, I like the QR code.
But on the other, I've never seen a QR code on Front Porch Forum either, so.
Do you have Facebook? Do you do Facebook, or is that something you don't really bother with?
Not for the town.
Yeah, I don't blame you either.
Yeah, it gets contentious.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the next thing is to start looking at some actions that the town wants to work on in the next 5 years. So just kind of a reminder, the top 3 elements or hazards that the town identified that they'd want to look at is invasive species, ice, and wind.
Okay,
So Brandy, I don't want to step on anybody or Stephanie on anybody's toes, but we had the Grand Isle County Mutual Aid Association meeting on Monday night. Bill Barron, the town tree warden, was there. And he said that he made a note sort of out of the blue, that the emerald ash borer is running like wildfire through,
Yeah.
I think the county, I think he didn't specify, but I'm assuming the county. And he's saying that is, I forgot, I have it written down, the percentage of forested land in the county was like 60. Let's see, let me look at my notes really quick. I think he said there was like 60 or 70% of the forested areas have ash trees. 60% of the forested
Mhm.
areas are ash trees, and they're all like they're all getting infected by this emerald ash borer, and it kills a tree rather quickly. And he said, and when it destroys the trees fall over really easily. I don't know. He had some background information about it.
Well, I've seen it firsthand. I mean, you can go
Yeah.
walking up Butternut Hill and there's just a
Okay.
ton of
You can
trees.
drive and once you realize
Yeah.
what you're looking at, then you
And
can
then,
go.
yeah, I've had a couple out in front of my house that got diseased and they went downhill in a hurry. They've been cut down since, but, yeah,
Okay.
so I fully believe that.
And we did well, I don't know about for this year, until the next budget, we did put a budget in there for tree removal with knowing this has happened.
There's $10,000 in there, which is about 5 trees. And it's for trees that are hazard in the roadway.
Right.
So as far as private property
Yeah.
or public lands. There was an inventory done. Craig Dusabon, our tree warden, he worked. Who did he work with? I forget. It's maybe 5 years ago, before the whole thing really did an outbreak, there was some kind of a state program and everybody was given an iPad and they went around and counted the number of ash trees in the town road right of ways. So that's all we as a town care about.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Parks and Rec, I worry about them because they do have the walking trails and stuff like that,
They have discussed it in the past. They're absolutely aware of it. And I was at a meeting probably at least 2 years ago. I happened to be at one of their meetings where they were addressing that and realized that trees right close to the trail would need to be dealt with. So they are.
You just go to all town meetings?
Of course.
No, this is one where I went to complain about something. You know me.
You shouldn't have the special chair at the front with the massage.
No.
The Andy Alling chair.
But I just found it was 40 to 60% of the forested land is ash.
Yeah,
Was
totally
what he
believe
said.
that. Yeah.
We've got a ton around our house.
Yeah.
All the ones in the front they're gonna die. No,
Mm.
our-
Well, yeah, and that's unfortunate. You can save individual trees, but it's
But-
expensive.
yeah, I looked at it and it's really expensive because it goes per inch of diameter.
Well, just my next door neighbors have, I think it's 6 really beautiful ash trees in their front yard and they wanted to save them. So they had a guy, year ago last fall, it cost them $200 per tree and it has to be done every other year, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not cheap.
And then there was a question, I think I remember Claire asking a question at one of the select board meetings about how that impacted what they're injecting in the trees around the waters, around the lake shore and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I get $200 a tree. I can't
yeah, no,
treat all of my trees.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
okay, well, so we need to probably do something to address that. Just as far, maybe even making sure that landowners, probably most people are aware of this now, but just focus in that if you've got ash trees on your property, be careful, monitor it.
Who's our tree warden right now?
Craig Dusabon.
Would it be of interest to maybe have him join us for one of these meetings to discuss an action plan, maybe
Yeah.
what actions we could do?
Great idea. Yeah.
Contact.
I'm hearing a couple different actions that you could probably apply towards the invasive species is, implementing like a right-of-way treatment of clearing, so many miles a year or something like that, being proactive. Like a lot of towns are at just removing the ash trees within the right-of-way to prevent them falling on the roads or the electrical lines that are adjacent to the roads. And then also education outreach to citizens about being proactive at either removing the ash trees before that happens or doing preventative treatments. But that sounds like that could be sensitive, especially in North Hero with the water so close.
Yes, maybe we send an invite and see what
Yeah.
he has to say. Maybe he's got some other,
And maybe just a follow-up with Parks and Rec to see where they are right now, because, yeah, we've got miles and miles of nature trails, here that people use all the time. Hate to have a ash tree fall down on one of them.
yeah. Well, I worry about, let's, because our other two are ice and wind, which
Yeah,
with these trees will not be good.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
The trees are almost in all hazards. To all
Yeah.
three of them.
yep.
Has other towns identified this as one of their action items?
They have, yep. They've identified just not only the emerald ash borer, but the poison parsnip. And then what's the other one? Drawing a blank. That's invasive. Yep, that one. It'll come to me.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking of the same one, Stephanie, poison parsnip.
Is it another plant like?
Yeah, it's,
Is it hogweed?
no, it's,
The Japanese knotweed is invasive too. And then there's also, is it not oak? Poison oak,
poison sumac, maybe.
sumac, I think, maybe one of them.
Yeah. But yeah, in the case of the parsnip, I know Parks and Rec, every year they have volunteers that go out and remove it from, at least from the public areas.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's I don't know if you guys have as a bad, like a milfoil problem in North Hero at all.
Yeah, we do, huge.
I mean, who doesn't? And
Yeah.
But there's really
it's not really a hazard though, right?
there's not really.
It's an inconvenience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, you can go on and on. You can go zebra
Yeah.
mussel, zebra
Yeah.
mussels.
Blue-green algae. Do you get blue-green algae in around too?
Yes, oh, yeah. Now
Yeah.
that could be a health issue.
Because that's
Yeah.
a
It is.
health risk.
Yeah,
Definitely mention that. Yeah.
And there's been an increase in that every year.
yeah,
I agree.
okay. So we've identified a few things that we need to address as action items.
So we'll reach out to the tree wardens, invite him, and maybe somebody from Parks and Rec to.
Yeah, let me make a note. I'll try to attend. Or I'll just get a hold of the chair of Parks and Rec, see where they are on it right now.
Okay. So then the other one would be the ice and the wind. Which Tracy was here.
So, the action items have become a little complex in that, so you have to look at the hazards themselves. And each hazard has to have an action identified for them, but then we also have to look at the different areas that the action items have to fall into. And these are the four new, they're not new, but they're FEMA and VEM are becoming more strict about making sure that each category is covered. And that's local plans and regulations, structure and infrastructure projects, natural systems, and outreach and education. So just something to think about. So we've already got education and outreach at least covered,
Yep,
Well,
and then structure and infrastructure with the maintenance of the trees.
yep.
So as far as ice and wind,
Well, yeah, again, like we were saying, the getting rid of the ash trees will be helpful as far as minimizing wind damage. Cause they're the ones that are gonna be most vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I mean, what can you actually do about wind? It's gonna blow.
Other than, education as far as, I know I get a lot from BT Alert telling me, you know, like I just got one for a winter weather advisory, so.
Yeah, maybe that's one, but yeah. Yeah, sending out alerts to, BT alert. Wind and icing too, is that possible?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I haven't because BT Alert has been sending them out for the area that you're in or whatever you subscribe to. So I
Yeah.
get them for here and I get them for St. Albans area.
but one action item could be to monitor, to make sure that they are doing that, and
Yeah.
if not, then we take it upon ourselves to
Yeah.
send out an alert.
I know I got one from Alberg earlier in the year or last year that they had a road that was just saying, you know, be careful along this road, along the lake because the snow had blown over on the road and it was, you know, starting to pile up. So they had sent a notice out to just be careful in that area.
Some other items, especially with like wind, you know, making sure roofs are up to par, things like that. So, you know, you're not getting things peeled off. Um, I don't know if there's any coordination with the local power company to make the infrastructure more resilient in the area, if there's been talks about that.
Not that I'm
I
aware
know
of. I mean, they've been real good about responding when there is issues.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're being necessarily proactive.
Remind me again, is everything good on generators in the town?
I would say yes, this building has a generator, the fire station,
School has one.
School has
Fire
one.
station doesn't have
but there's not one up there,
No, I don't, I mean, I'm sure he has like a little
portable, yeah.
portable thing, but the whole
Yeah.
building isn't. Connected.
Well, and I know the plans for the future build up there include one,
Yeah. But the water station, you know.
and the water plant definitely has one, yeah.
Long-term, I mean, with both ice and wind, you can have long-term power outages. Educating folks on getting generators or some sort of heat source as a secondary backup is another one.
I think you were right with the I didn't mean to interrupt you, Stephanie, but
Okay, go right ahead.
some towns that I've worked with, they have like a right of way vegetation management plan for the town right away, just cutting back trees and also working, and you already said it as well, working, you don't really have control over what the power company does, but encourage or partner with or whatever to clear vegetation along the utility corridors. And I don't know that there's any issues with access to the right of way with power companies, but certainly working with them, partnering with them on making sure that happens for their maintenance, their vegetation maintenance plan. I know Green Mountain Power has one. I'm sure Velco does too, or the co-op. But that's a tough one with wind. For most towns, I think they have a hard time trying to think like, what can you do about wind without a lot of, we're not like a city where we don't have codes and building codes or anything like that. So like some of the bigger cities, like even Burlington probably has some sort of a building code for high winds.
Yeah, I look at it more as like long-term power outages
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
things like that. How do you prepare?
Some towns do like they say I had one town that do like snow fences for drifting snow as a mitigation strategy for some of the fields. especially in the islands, I would think that would be, you know, maybe have some areas that are prone to drifting more, that might be a hazard. Or icing or black ice or whatever.
Yeah, we have certain areas that are bad for drifting.
You
And
say
then for
that
the-
there are some roads are bad for drifting in the town?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to, Joe, we don't have a quorum, so this is just a working session.
That's fine.
Yeah, just want to make sure you're aware of that.
Let's try to make it here.
and
That's possible.
We did pretty good.
And then I don't know about the lake, like, you know, I mean, there's, yeah, that's Coast Guard and Weather Service for lake warnings. As far as wind goes, like I don't know. There's nothing really for the town to do that I can think of. Like, you don't own any marinas, do you? They're,
Town does not.
yeah.
I haven't, well, I've seen wind advisories come through BT alert.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I think Stephanie's right too, that like kind of wind, power outages, you know, you associate those two more than anything, or structural roof, you know, residential damage, building damage. That's a tough one to come up with mitigation strategies for
Yeah.
small towns, for sure.
Well, I know, you know, in Florida, especially with hurricanes, they've, you know, you can actually be fined, I believe, if you don't bring things that blow away in. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna fine you if they can't find what's blown away, but they're pretty stringent about making sure that you put those things away.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some plans, some mitigation plans from other towns that were approved.
You know, I have the FEMA examples of good mitigation
Oh, you do?
actions, and I never think to bring it up. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, but
Yeah, this-
there isn't anything like the Vermont towns, there isn't anything I don't think we talked, you know, all their strategies are just what we've talked about, like nothing,
Right.
there's no silver bullet.
right.
no, but I do
Retrofit.
like the fence idea,
The what?
the snow fence idea.
Oh, yeah.
anybody
Although some of the areas it
ice
wouldn't really
storm
happen.
of when was the ice storm?
98.
98? Because North Hero, I believe, got hit pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was living in Burlington at the time and it was bad there. I'm sure it was bad here.
That's our biggest hazard. Ice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we thought. Yeah, well, ice, wind and invasive species were the three ones.
Well,
Yeah.
we have wind pretty much all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You have issues, with, I mean, obviously you must have issues with icing on the road. Is there plans for like making sure certain roads are clear because of the busing, or do you have like a priority to keep roads clear?
I have to talk to Tracy about that.
All I can say is he does a pretty darn good job.
Real good job.
Yeah. And of
If-
course,
if-
the state does route too.
If anything, I think I have more problems with what the state does.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a priority that he has to be off of Abenaki by a certain point, because there isn't enough room for the plow and the school bus to pass.
Hmm.
So I don't remember the preference or like who's supposed to be where when, but there is a schedule.
Oh, that's good to know.
So you mentioned something, did I hear mention possible issues with V-Trans and their clearing principles? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, usually, well, a lot of it is because of the time that I go through in the morning. I'm usually leaving North Hero before 5 o'clock. But, City Bay, depending on which way the wind's blowing, can be really treacherous with drifting.
Mhm.
Birdland can be really treacherous
Yep.
for drifting. And then always, right before you get to the bridge, there's almost always black ice if we have cold weather and a little bit of moisture.
which bridge?
North Hero Albers.
Harborside.
Yeah.
And then I know in front of our house is usually,
Oh, yeah, as far as secondary roads, that would be.
That would be a
E-Trans,
town,
that'd be
yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job
Yeah.
of keeping that down since he's been doing it.
Yeah,
Cause I mean, there used to be with the old public works, not that I'm gonna mention any names. I'd have to go out there with my tractor and clear a 5-foot drift,
Wow.
you know?
there, also. Well, it's Albert, it's not really us, but it's those open fields, theirs are down too.
But Station Road sounds like one that might, maybe snow fencing would work.
Definitely for the town, yeah.
Yeah,
I really don't wanna put it in though. Yeah. Mario and Dominic used to do it. And they did the same thing, they just got tired of doing it because. I mean, it doesn't really affect us, we'll take our tractors out there and plow it out.
Mm.
It affects everybody else that's coming through, and I don't, you know, it's like Brandy can tell you, almost every year, we have at least one car in our yard. That has gone off right there
Mm.
because of the drifts.
Mm.
And if you catch me in a good mood, I'll get the tractor and pull you out.
I don't know about the other direction. spots,
Yeah,
no.
towards
Yeah,
town.
I don't, yeah.
I mean,
towards
when I
the
used to
mouth.
drive that way all the time, I mean. Pretty much from from the village. Is Route 2. I don't know about the secondary roads. I've gone around the dump road quite often when I was, used to work that way. I don't remember as much drifting that way. And I don't remember any of the roads being really bad that way.
Yeah,
What
It's
about
just-
on P-lots when it comes around by the lake? 'Cause there's, I don't know how
Yeah.
bad the wind is.
I don't know.
yeah, it can be pretty bad. But as far as heading in toward Burlington on Route 2, and I don't leave as early as you do. But I've never had a real issue with the state,
Kind of miss
Maintenance, yeah.
going that way.
yeah.
Sometimes there's drifting in front of the Campbellton place,
Where?
Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the fields, I'm sure,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because that was the year that I pulled 2 out and I pulled Ray out. I
Yeah,
drifted right there in the roads.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
That was a wicked storm, man.
Okay,
So Stephanie, I think like, I don't know, between the wind and the ice, they're kind of this. I mean, they're kind of the same, right? Strategies.
I was
Uh,
thinking maybe, does V-Trans put up any snow fencing along Route 2 anymore? Ever?
I've only seen one section of snow fencing and that's down towards the state park or the state park, but I think that's done privately.
I think so too.
mhm.
So maybe there's an opportunity to start a conversation with V-Trans, the district office potentially, and maybe make them aware of the trouble spots.
Mhm.
Because I know, I mean, and this is not consistent, but I believe in the last few years, they've started doing patrols during the nights to make sure that the trouble spots are dealt with and things like that. So I don't know if that's something that the town wants to consider.
I know they had a hard day yesterday, keeping the roads clear.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the way they iced over. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
yeah.
With all the wind and stuff. That's the report I got this morning.
I'm sure, and the ground's so frozen that,
Yeah,
yeah, as soon as that wind touches it, it freezes.
I'm
So,
really surprised nobody's wrecked right there on the bridge though. 'Cause that is treacherous in the morning.
Mm.
Same problem you do.
Well, yeah, but you go through a little bit later than I do. They probably hit it
so you're talking like right by Harborside Market?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right there at the beginning of that
yeah,
slope.
yeah,
I don't know how.
Oh,
many-
yeah.
yeah.
I've fought for control to go around that corner
Wow.
You
because
should probably slow down. I don't have that problem.
you also have all-wheel drive with studded snow tires. You probably don't even know you're on black ice.
I also know that it is salted before I go.
Yeah. Well, they salt from where you get out of the car in the parking lot of the store to the front door, so you don't slip on your way into the store.
They do.
So you're a bit spoiled.
I'm a bit spoiled.
So like, I have a question. I know Grand Isle Rescues. Oh no, this is North Hero. Never mind. I'm thinking of Grand Isle Rescue.
Which town
I
are
don't
you in?
Like yeah, I was thinking of the ambulances if they have the the chains or the automatic chains or whatever that go on their vehicles. I don't know if fire department has that with any of their apparatus, but I know they're their own. They're not really a town. I don't know. I never know the island departments. They're all 501(c)(3s, right? But they're all also get funding from the town as well, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
So I don't know, like if you could, like I don't know if you could put it like ensuring all first response equipment. I'm sure they are.
Chains or something.
I'm sure they probably are. Sure, everybody's all set. I'm just trying to think, like I'm trying to
Don't
find
assume. Even buses
anything.
don't always have chains anymore.
True.
Yeah. I don't know.
That would be a Mike question.
Yeah. That's one you can write down and email them.
Yeah.
I don't imagine, well. Can't say just because they're heavy, they're gonna stick to the road, because. That's not the case.
It's so tall too.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Then you already had the generator discussion for backup
Yeah.
power. Right, right.
You know, said on generators, she said,
Yeah.
is there ever time that you think you might, because of wind or ice, might lose internet capabilities and may
Mhm.
want to consider internet backup like Starlink or something like that?
For the town.
Sure. I mean, we're just throwing out ideas on paper.
Yeah,
for
it's not a bad
we might have
idea.
to, Right? It's not like we're gonna do it.
Not a bad
No,
idea.
there's
You
no
could-
no harm or foul if you don't do anything in
Yeah.
5 years. There's
And,
doesn't matter.
and maybe it's not a bad idea. I don't know how,
I've heard it's extremely reliable.
My parents just got it and they love it.
Hmm.
But then they had one step up, the dial up, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are a whole new world now.
Rural Texas.
Sure, that's
Yeah.
something that you can procure the equipment and only use it when you need it. That's the only thing I'm not aware of, but I do know that a lot of towns are starting to actually consider that
Yeah.
for continuity of operation,
Yeah, it's really
especially
fast.
since even phones are, a lot of phone services are internet based too, so.
I mean, we know the service out here is not that great.
Right.
cell service, yeah.
Cell service is horrible.
Mhm.
Could also tell you on the road where you lose cell service.
Yep.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Yep.
Is that, it is up, there's no towers on in
There
the
is,
area?
there's a
Interesting.
tower.
Down in
Right out
Grand
here.
Isle is the tower.
There's also one on the hill right here behind.
Oh, that, yeah, right,
And
yeah.
there's one
Robinson.
across and
Particular carrier, do we know?
Yeah, I think it's, depends on your
The
carrier.
one in Grand Isle is AT&T, I believe. I don't know what the one in North Arrow is.
The one there's a Verizon in Alberg.
Yeah.
too.
It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because. Some of the places, there's no obstructions at all. And you just drop signal. But my sister's in Grand Isle, every time you go by her house, I kid around and tell my mom that she's jamming us.
but it's.
It has something to do with the technology of the tower and the phone, so if one is newer than the other, then they don't always blend well. Cause I've got, like I've upgraded a phone and all of a sudden I drop calls when I didn't used to drop calls, and I think it's because the technology of the tower itself changes, or I'm sorry, does not change, and the phone has upgraded too fast, so that's
Hmm.
my 2-minute spiel of everything I know about cell service.
It's a lot more than what I got. I have no idea.
That makes sense.
The only thing to think about, would be natural systems. And actually, was it you, Sean, that, now that I'm thinking about this? No, I think it was over in Addison County. That when VEM, when they submitted their plan, VEM or FEMA made them add either, I think it was fluvial erosion or inundation flooding.
Was
Have you
probably
heard that?
Yeah, I've heard, I don't know. It's different every time, honestly. I've heard that the fluvial erosion thing. Um, you could say for the islands it would be lakeshore erosion more than anything else. I mean, they do, they do have streams and stuff. And we did the road erosion inventory for North Hero, I helped the town, like 3 road foremen ago. We did some work in North Hero on a couple hills, I remember.
We actually have a couple projects we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
do you?
erosion.
Okay.
Erosion, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's kind of ongoing
Yeah.
for the stream, like small stream erosions. I think there was a huge wetland right in the middle that was coming down. I remember that was some of the drainage from this wetland was causing problems with the roads. This was long. I don't remember the details without looking it up in my notes from back then, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, you could talk
Something
about,
I may have to, I wonder if I should touch base with Caroline just to kind of say, this is what they're thinking. Are we gonna have to re-rank these?
I think for the islands, and I think it's, we
It's
did this, St. Albans town was lakeshore erosion. And the St. Albans town was worried that they were losing beach and in the town park in the bay. And so that was like one of their big things was that they had some ideas that they wanted to do to build up some storm walls and to do some natural treatments to try to prevent some of the erosion in the bay around the park and the public works building that used to be down there as well. So that came up. And in Georgia, I think when I did the Georgia mitigation plan, that was another piece too with Georgia Beach. And I'm sure North Hero has, I wouldn't be, they've got to have with the wind and everything and the lake and being an island, lakeshore erosion must have maybe a couple of problem spots. Maybe.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all private land where we.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right.
We do have a public beach, but it's not very accessible and it's a lot of rock, so yeah, I don't think erosion is a real problem. Do
Okay.
you guys know we have a public beach?
No,
Yeah, we do.
where?
Right at the end of Lots Point. There's a part of the old rail bed. You have to park
Oh,
on
in the
Lots
park.
Point Road and then it's about a half a mile walk, or you
Yeah.
could take your bike. And it's up there. It's almost at the end of Lots Point.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But
It's off the hiking trail. Oh,
no,
There is a beach down there, that's inside the bay. This is in the open water, but. So the park, so it's peninsula, the park comes out on the west side and the walking trail comes out on kind of the north. Like no, east and northwest.
yeah, you really, to really see where it is, you have to see it by boat. Unless you take the half-mile walk up through, yeah. Anyway,
In Old West Shore, the Old West Shore Road,
mhm.
that is all stable again, yes.
As far as I know, yes.
That's dating myself. I remember when you could drive all the way through.
Yeah,
So that's, yeah, maybe I'll pop VEM an email and see
Yeah.
what their thoughts are about that.
I think, a mitigation, and I do this with a lot of plans. you know, when you're struggling, like, you know, for strategies for stuff, for addressing hazards, you could say like, if you do the fluvial erosion, stream erosion or whatever, the town does participate with the municipal roads general permit program. And they do have a road erosion inventory, and the road erosion inventories deal with stream erosion affecting roads, affecting the water quality. So,
Mhm.
you know, there's your strategy or goal or whatever. Continued participation in the municipal roads general permit program. Plus the state's giving you grant money to fix your roads. So, you know, it's a great program, I think, for towns. It's good.
Outline piece, that's brown is the town.
I'm not gonna, you know, that's just my thoughts for the town. That's up to you guys if you want to include it,
Yeah.
but it's just it's plans that sometimes, you know, it's their head scratchers, what they want. I also heard, Stephanie, that somebody, it might have been Addison too, told me that Andrew told me that he had to address all the hazards they had to do a strategy for, I think this is what he said, all the hazards. No, he had to profile all the hazards.
Yes,
you have to
at
not, you
least
don't need a
yeah, you have to at least recognize them and why all of them aren't being, don't have an action item. You have to kind of explain that, you know, based on the probability and the impact that,
Okay,
yeah,
that's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay, good.
you have to recognize everything. So culvert replacements, that's, yeah, ongoing community education on severe storm preparation. Um, Protect critical facilities and infrastructure from lightning damage. I mean, lightning wasn't item, so that really doesn't necessarily need to come forward. Education outreach to schools. Corridor protection with the latest Vermont ANR guidelines in order to maintain the 17.5% ERAF rate.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the natural systems
Yeah, I mean,
environment.
MRGP is stormwater, you know, protecting the streams, surrounding streams.
Hmm. Yeah.
Supporting the power utilities efforts, tree funding. So yeah, we've got everything covered in the, so I'm just looking at the past plan to see. But yeah, I think the MRGP would probably be,
Oh, you know, maybe for the natural systems too. I don't know if the town does buffer zones for rivers and streams. I have to ask Danielle.
We don't have.
No, we don't have rivers and streams, so.
Well, but there is this weird stream corridor ordinate bylaw that towns can do, and it depends on the drainage area of the stream. And it's like, what is it, like half an acre up to 5 acres or something? If there's a stream that drains like that threshold, then a town could, if they wanted to, do like a river, like a stream buffer bylaw, like 50 feet on either side of the stream or whatever, to protect this erosion along the stream. And then that also decreases your ERAF rate by having that additional stream corridor protection. I don't know if, I think South Hero might have that, but I don't know of any other town in the islands that does.
Again, Sean, I can't think of any streams that we actually have in North.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
exactly.
we have Beaver Creek, but that's just
So I
connection.
think he's saying if we have the ordinance, we still do better in the ranking.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
even though, because I'm like, because none of the islands, like, there's no streams in the islands, so
Right.
like, how is it fair that they don't get the extra? You know, you could get an extra, what is it, Stephanie, another 7.5% or whatever it is, off your ERAF rate. How is it, how come you guys don't get it, but everybody else does because they have
Yeah.
stream? Like what was, and they came up with this solution for like small little creeks or whatever. And even like, I think they were using it, like, it was either Grand Isle or South Hero. I think they were looking at one of the wetlands and saying, well, you could use, there's like the drainage of the wetland that you can
Yeah.
use.
'Cause
So I don't know.
leads
And
to
it's-
more money, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of a way to hit
Yeah.
that natural systems requirement for the mitigation plan, because it's,
But we have to identify where that area would be.
well, I mean,
Blanket statement.
we could,
There's,
Same talk with
so
them
there's,
now.
it's I mean, these are segments of roads within the town that don't meet the MRGP standards. So that means a segment of road is near, are they? So it's not, is it also the lake that they're considering when they do this analysis, Sean?
for what, for what, the,
The MRGP?
no, oh, I asked that, and yeah, the lake was included. And it's whatever the buffer was, yeah, the lake was part of it.
Sunset View Road is not compliant.
Hmm.
So that's because it's,
Yeah, those are
Okay.
the streams. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
yeah,
all right, see you, Corinne.
so I'll add that.
Yeah. Oh, there was, I was trying to think of who, Jim Martin I worked with, and then the other Jim, before Jim Martin, on the road erosion stuff. That's who I worked with, and I can't think of his last name. I'm trying to remember. I'd have to look it up with the roads that we looked at. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're moving forward.
Yep,
Then I'll send out the typical plan maintenance language that I use, and we can go over that next month, but I'll compile all these ideas and send them out. And then we can touch base next month. Does that sound good?
yep.
Do you feel good about the strategies and the goals, Stephanie? Do you think it's in a good place?
Good start. You got thoughts?
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, it's just documenting, it's saying, it's not trying to. The idea is being honest, the town is not
Yeah.
susceptible to a lot of, fortunately. So,
Yeah.
but where they are, here's where they want to improve in the next 5 years.
Yeah, and to me, it's like a lot of it's just road, like the invasive species.
Yep.
The roads, and well, it can't really hard to do anything about the lake, and then like protect all the critical infrastructure in the town, right? I mean, I don't know.
Outreach to the power company to start the conversation,
Yeah.
because I know some towns are working with GMP to upgrade certain systems to make it more resilient.
Right. Doing the batteries and stuff, and yeah, and then you already touched on generators, shelters, and all that. So I think it seems to me like it's in a pretty good, like you've got enough
Good.
background to fill it out.
And so what we'll do is I'll list them all out, send them out, and then next month we can review them and you can decide which ones you'd actually like to implement. And then we'll assign somebody to be the primary contact for that, the funding sources, and then the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see everybody. Can't believe it's been that
Thank you.
long. I'm glad everybody's healthy. Y'all have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. See you, Sean.
See you all. Bye.
Bye.
And I push the end button down here, right?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there you go.
Going to bed before 12:30.